Hey everyone, and welcome to Chasing Growth. The purpose is to encourage you with challenging ideas so you can get better. If you like this video, please subscribe and share them in social media. Today I want to talk about what I believe is the two big enemies of growth. But before I do that, I want to tell you a story. This story is about my wife and I. We both speak Spanish. I was born in another country where they speak Spanish. I grew up speaking Spanish. I came to the United States and I learned English. She grew up as a missionary kid going back and forward between the United States and that country, and she was able to learn another language too. So we both speak Spanish. And when we started having children, people will ask us, are you going to teach your children Spanish? And we'll say, yeah, we'll see, we don't know, maybe, here and there, all these kind of questions. And the reality was that our children were born and we never did anything. The years went by and people will ask us, are you going to teach your children Spanish? And we will say, well, we don't have time. I'm learning English, so it's good for me to practice my English. And we'll say, it's hard to switch from one language to another, and you're just repeating everything in English, so it's so hard. All these things that we will say. And we realize many years later, after 12 years, that all what we have been doing is to holding a great opportunity from our kids. And the ones who were responsible for that was us. We were responsible for not sharing this opportunity that we had, that we received, to give it to them. And we realized that we assumed responsibility. We realized that we were responsible for the opportunity that was given to us to speak two languages, to give it to our children too. So what we did, we stopped. We stopped and we took responsibility of the situation. And it was shameful that our children were not speaking Spanish, and that it was completely on us. So what we did was we stopped. We recognized that we were responsible, and we start taking steps, and not just one step, steps to start moving forward in a different direction, a correction. When you correct something, when you correct direction, you have to sometimes turn 180 degrees in another direction. So we did that. And what we did, we start teaching our children 1 hour Spanish every day during the week. We bought some books, we start practicing, we start getting together every day after dinner, and we spend an hour speaking Spanish, learning Spanish. You will be amazed how much Spanish they're learning in those times. And not only that, I think as a family, we're growing together because they're learning directly from us a very specific skill. So it has been great. But that only happened when we stopped the whole blaming game, the whole excuses game. So that's what I want to talk today. So many of us, or so many people today, is blaming the government for their finances. They're saying the government is to blame because the finances, the taxes, all that stuff. They blame their boss because their work, their job is no good. They blame the schools for the behavior of their children. They blame all kind of things. People blame all kind of things. The weather, people blame the rain. I'm late because the traffic. And the reality is that when you fall into that, you don't realize that blaming and finding excuses is the enemy of growth. It's the enemy of you getting better. So if there's something in your life today that you're still giving excuses, for example, you're somebody who's always late, and actually it got to the point that you introduce yourself as somebody who's always late, and you let people know that. Shame on you, because you know it's wrong, and you can do something to change it and stop blaming and start finding excuses. For example, you're somebody who's always late. You can always leave your home 30 minutes earlier. You can do everything ahead of time and get to the places on time. If you're getting late to work, you can do the same. How are you going to blame the traffic if you start leaving early if something happens, you still will make it on time? So what are you blaming in your life today? Are you blaming the people who live around you and the environment where you live about your problems? Are you blaming your past, your parents, for your physical problems in the way that you eat, the way that you keep yourself, your body, your health? What are you blaming? What are your excuses for not doing what is right? So today I want to challenge you to stop and start assuming the responsibility. The first thing that you can do is to assume the responsibility for your actions and fight these inner thing that we all have to blame and find excuses. And it's not only us. If you think about history, you think about the story of the world, and Adam and Eve, what is the first thing they did? The men blamed the woman, and the woman blamed the snake. That comes from the beginning. We all struggle with that. So I want to challenge you, if there's anything that you're blaming in your life, that you're finding excuses for not doing, what is that person you want to become, and you're not becoming that person, or you're not doing that thing because you're still blaming something? Again, you're blaming things that are completely out of your control. But what about if you start taking responsibility for the things that are under your control? You're under control of what you put in your mouth. You're under control of how much you exercise. You are in control of how much you read, or how much time you spend meditating or reading the Bible. How much time you spend with friends and family to be socially smart. All those things are under your control. But until you don't assume responsibility for them, nothing's gonna happen. You can wish the thing to happen, but it doesn't matter how much you want to do it, nothing will happen actually until you do it. So today I want to remind you that if you're giving excuses about being late, about your work, about your finances, about your health, about your relationship, if you're giving any excuses, you blaming different things, including people from the past, and maybe people who's not even here anymore on this earth. If you're doing that, you got to stop and realize that you got to take responsibility 100% of the time, all the time, and start changing. If you do that, that's the first step to start moving forward, grow. If you don't do it, you will never grow. So I want to challenge you, stop blaming, start finding excuses. And again, when that comes into your mind, when that excuse, hey, what, this is not done, and it starts to say, well, the dog or this or that, who let the dog out? Well, this or that, who did this or that? Before that thing that's coming out of you to say an excuse or blame something, by your tongue, and remind yourself that you're responsible 100% of the time. Growth only happens when you take responsibility, and this world belongs to those who take responsibility. So I hope this video helped you to think about this, and I hope this video challenge you and encourage you to keep moving forward and growing. God bless you. Have a great week.